A thief in Colorado has made off with something radioactive. It's concerning enough that a state agency sent out an alert. And in more thief news, catalytic converters continue to be a hot item. The crime is surging all over Denver. The term, "you act white."
It wasn't really until high school that I started getting labeled as a white black man, because I spoke proper English. I did well in school.
We explore the impact of that phrase, and it's Friday, so we go cruising for your good news. Next. Like the ex who starts dating your exact opposite as soon as you break up, Douglas County is doing a U-turn with its new health department. This is, of course, after it broke up from Tri-County Health. The brand new Douglas County Board of Health voted unanimously today to allow an exemption to mask mandates. Right now, the order just applies to kids, but the board plans to add adults. So anyone could be exempt from mask mandates in Douglas County if they believe masks negatively impact their own physical and mental health or the health of their kids. Douglas County schools already allowed medical exemptions for masks with written notice from a healthcare provider, but this new order allows parents to decide for themselves whether their kids should be exempt. The order also raises the threshold for quarantines. Kids who were exposed to someone with COVID-19 but showed no symptoms would not have to quarantine in most cases. The Douglas County attorney says they will wait and see on Monday how the school district reacts to this new vote. We get email, not just viewer feedback. Every day we get a lot of news releases from state agencies, and one of them caught the eye of Marshall Zellinger, a nonchalant announcement about a missing device with radioactive material.
I definitely made a Back to the Future joke or two when I saw this news release from the state health department about a stolen radioactive gauge used by an engineering firm. Wait, a radioactive what now?
This type of gauge is a portable moisture density gauge. It's used often in road construction to test the moisture content or the compaction density for the paving or repaving operations.
Phil Peterson runs the radioactive materials unit at the state health department.
This company is required by regulation to notify us when they lose or have radioactive material stolen.
It turns out this type of device gets stolen often enough to be reported on around the world.
News tonight, a radioactive theft. It's been stolen in Durham, and it contains radioactive material.
It could pose a serious public safety risk if it's mishandled.
It's fitting that last one is 9 News Australia, because we get emails meant for them all the time. Wait, that's another story. Back to the stolen radioactive gauge.
If you put it up on eBay, someone's going to notice.
Jeffrey King is the director of nuclear science and engineering at the Colorado School of Mines. He can explain the radioactive contents that would look like small batteries, cesium-137 and americium-241.
There's americium-241 in pretty much every household in the United States. Because it's also the isotope we use in smoke detectors. And cesium-137 is also fairly common as a industrial isotope.
Perhaps scarier words than the true danger, even if this device were tampered with.
If you were standing by it for 20 hours, that would be the equivalent of a check sticks, right?
I have seen one of these gauges run over by a car, and the source was not damaged in any way.
That thing was stolen out of a car near DU. It was locked up. And I'll tell you, based on the other stories of these types of items being stolen, it could be simply, hey, that thing looks expensive or worth something, especially because it's locked up, and maybe it's not being stolen for the materials, really.
So the thieves probably have no idea what they have, or maybe not.
Right, and if they don't, and then they start tampering with it, that's where that danger comes in. But you hear, if you're around the tampered version, again, 20 hours, it's the equivalent of a chest X-ray. I don't want to mess with that.
But still, it's radioactive. All right. Right on, Marshall. Thank you very much for that report. We have something that's been kept hidden from the public until now. It's police body camera footage showing why a Greeley police officer is facing a felony charge. He put a handcuffed man in a chokehold. Here's that crucial moment.
Come on, man. Take it easy. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Look, you're not going to grab my hand. Look.
Okay.
Okay? You're not going to grab my hand. I didn't grab your hand. You are. So, release.
You good?
You're gonna
Officer Kenneth Amick used a chokehold, which is illegal for police in Colorado. This actually happened last June, but here's why we are showing this to you right now. A new state law requires the release of police body camera video in 21 days, but prosecutors actually sided with Officer Amick when they denied news outlets this video. Amick's defense attorney claimed this video would bring condemnation and hurt his right to a fair trial. A media lawyer for the Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press filed an objection in court and won this week. The judge agreed under the new body camera law, the public is entitled to see this video. Amick is on unpaid leave. Another thing to note here, the two officers who were there came forward and reported excessive force. It has been a really bad year for catalytic converter thefts. The crime is surging nationally and here in Colorado too. This is the part of the car that contains expensive precious metals and cleans up your car exhaust. Brandon Cook, who lives in Broomfield, sent me this dash cam video of thieves in action. They roll up in a van, climb under his truck, and use a saw to remove his catalytic converter. This thing just takes minutes. Thieves can make hundreds of dollars selling these catalytic converters on the black market or at nefarious recycling yards. Victims of this crime can end up spending up to $3,000 to replace them. But there's some good news here for Brandon. He posted this video on Nextdoor, and a complete stranger stepped forward and paid for a replacement.
I greatly appreciate it, and thank you so much. And it's very refreshing to see something positive in today's world when we're constantly reminded of negative stuff going on all the time. It's refreshing to see people still care and want to help out their neighbors or complete strangers.
Good news for him, but this crime is a big problem. I checked with Denver police to see how bad it is here. Look at this. All of last year, Denver police documented 262 of these kind of thefts. So far, through August of this year, we've had nearly 2,000, and 2021 is not over yet. The cost of precious metals are going up, and of course, the thieves know that. Ballots are dropping today. Denver Elections shared this photo of election ballots getting ready to hit the mail. Today is the first day election ballots can be mailed out to voters. Elections in odd years don't get that much of a higher voter turnout. Less than half of voters turn them in. Odd year elections include many local issues like city council, school board, sales tax questions, and how local government runs. So here's some unsolicited advice for you. If you can't complain if you don't vote, like the old bumper sticker says. Taking care of family members who can't care for themselves is both emotionally and physically exhausting. Your Word of Thanks microgiving campaign continues this week with Seniors Resource Center. This nonprofit offers help to caregivers and their loved ones. Here's Kyle with an update on your progress.
Caregivers are exhausted after 19 months of the pandemic, and the older Coloradans they care for at home are craving the social connection they used to have. Seniors Resource Center provides in-home respite care to give those caregivers a break, and they're about to reopen their adult day center so that those older Coloradans can connect with each other safely again. To give to this week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign, text THANKS to 303-871-1491 and we'll text you a link to give. Understand the text function hasn't been working for everybody lately, so we've added a new way to connect. This QR code, you can just scan it on your phone. It'll take you right to a link to give. And if you want to bookmark it, it'll be the same link every single week. So far, you've raised more than $13,000 for Seniors Resource Center as they continue to give caregivers the respite that they need and older Coloradans the connections they crave. Thank you.
It's a phrase people of color have heard often. You act white. The harm it causes goes well beyond its racist implications.
If you talk proper and then people make fun of you, the harm is you're asking that person to lessen themselves. You're asking that person to be less of themselves and who they are.
You'll never know what you'll find just driving around. Today we cruised and found your Friday good news. That's next. Welcome back. It's a term a lot of people of color have heard growing up, even when people just think it's a joke. The words, "you act white." What does that even mean? And what are the implications when someone says that? Victoria De Leon takes a look.
Whether it's the way we dress, the way we talk, or even the hobbies we take up, impressions can be made within seconds. For some, making a good impression doesn't always lead to a good experience.
But it wasn't really until high school that I started getting labeled as a white black man, because I spoke proper English. I did well in school.
Instead, it leads to the phrase, "you act white."
It's frustrating that even in my daughter's generation, she's 19 now, several people called her the whitest black girl they know. She's like, because she talks proper, or because she skis, or because she snowboards. And they called her Oreo cookie, black on the outside, white on the inside.
Sometimes it's said in a playful manner, but that doesn't diminish the racist sentiments behind it.
I find it strange that we correlate academia, intelligence with whiteness.
Miranda and Eloisa are two college seniors, both proud of their Chicana culture. They've been accused of acting white for simply doing well in school.
He's like, oh, she went to like a good school in Aurora, and just where I was located growing up. That's why they classify like, oh, whitewashed.
It's such a persistent myth, this idea that our communities don't value education, but that phenomenon isn't specific to a given culture or community, and again is really reflective of the inequities that we see in school practices.
A 2019 study deconstructed the acting white phenomenon in Black and Latino college students. This is another in a long list of studies that dispels the idea that Black and Latino students don't do well in school out of fear of being accused by their own peers that they were acting white.
So what this study is now saying that we need to dig back into this. We need to figure out what our culture actually is. We need to figure out what is acting white and why so many students are being attacked in this way.
Even in a playful manner, there's a sting that comes with being accused of not connecting with your own culture.
Well, I mean, you're messing with someone's identity, right?
And accusing someone of acting white sets up an ideal that shouldn't exist.
And if we continue to look at ideals as something that we should all be, we will continue to devalue anyone that slightly differs from what that ideal is.
And so these comments are often made by two people, by their own peers and people who look like them. Dr. Lechuga made a really important point in our conversation about this topic. She says we need to be careful about blaming communities for opportunity gaps that have historic and systemic roots in inequity. And that's not to dismiss the very real experiences. It just speaks to the importance of needing to talk about a part of this country's history.
Yeah, and I remember hearing this myself when I was going through college, and I would imagine that, that for kids who hear this when they're younger, this has got to be confusing for them too.
Yeah, I think I heard it for the first time when I was maybe about 10 years old, and it really does this thing where it makes you for me at least, it brought this shame of being a Latina. And it took a long time for me to kind of reclaim that pride. I was really impressed with these students because, I mean, they were just so proud of being Chicanas and, majoring in Chicano studies. So it was just amazing to speak to them.
Right on. Thank you, Victoria.
Well, we're winding down this Friday evening with mostly cloudy skies across the metro area. That did not stop our temperatures from warming up once again. Mid to upper 70s around the metro with some 80s off to the eastern plains. Tonight, scattered rain and snow showers up into the high country as another storm system pulls through. Overnight lows in the 20s and 30s up in the mountains, but still pretty mild here in eastern Colorado. As we look at the futurecast early tomorrow morning, it's a quiet start along the I-25 corridor. We stay that way, really most of eastern Colorado, with a lot of the rain, the snow headed toward the high country. Here comes this cold front. It takes a line drive into Colorado, really kicking up the winds in far southeastern Colorado. That's where we have red flag warnings that will continue all day on Saturday. Highs in the 70s yet again here in the metro. 80s off to the eastern plains, and then look at next week. A little light snowfall late Tuesday night into early Wednesday.
I do believe in good news, and I do have some good news, actually.
Care to share it with us? More often than not, people love to open up about the good things going on in their lives. This Friday was no exception.
My good news is that I made over $100 today.
You can share that with us too, next. Good news is all around us. You just got to be willing to go find it. We've done it for 266 Fridays for our 267th edition. Our Tom Cole went for a drive around town, and whenever he saw someone outside, he'd pull over and park and get out and ask, hey, will you share your good news? And many of these people played along.
I have a lot of good news. You want me to just share one thing?
No, I want you to share it all.
A lot of good news. Some people might not have no good news, so I got some good news. I'm not pregnant. My dad likes my boyfriend, my fiance now.
What's the good news today, son? Having fun?
I do believe in good news, and I do have some good news, actually.
Me and my fiance are getting married and moving into our own place soon.
My good news today is I went and got my kids.
I'm having a moving sale.
My good news is that Bridgewater's going to do something awesome for the Broncos this year. I believe it with all my heart. I just want to let you know. But Tom Brady is the GOAT. That is my favorite.
My good news is I'm doing good in school. I like school.
My good news is that I'm here. I'm alive. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful sunny day here in East Denver. And I'm alive. I'm glad to be here.
My good news is I help everybody out around this town.
My kids are smart and in school. My daughter's pretty and healthy.
My good news is that I made over $100 today.
Say hello.
Hi.
Hi.
My good news is that Los Mocochetes are releasing an album at Raíces Brewing on October 23rd. Los Mocochetes is a Chicano funk band born and raised in the heart of Denver.
I have a lot of good news. I'm healthy. I'm pretty.
Everybody, that was so great. That made me laugh so loud. Oh, that was great. Llamas living their best lives is the most Colorado thing we saw today. That and your feedback next. Alrighty, the most Colorado thing we saw today is llamas out enjoying the great outdoors. Jane was at Staunton State Park last weekend when she spotted this man walking his llama and his chihuahua. It sounds like a children's book here. Both of them are leashed up. That's a responsible llama owner right there, right? Jane says the llama wasn't a fan of the people riding by on their mountain bikes, but sharing the trails is part of the life in the mountains, right, llamas? And then Kat was driving around Pagosa Springs, headed out for her own hike of her own on last Friday when she found herself behind this llama duo hitching a ride in the bed of a truck. Their long necks are pretty perfect for checking out the mountain views with the wind in their fur. I guess this is llama news right now, what we're doing. If you see something that's so Colorado or llama related or not, you can send it to us. Email pictures and video to us at next@9news.com, or you can get our attention on Twitter with the hashtag HeyNext. We really have no feedback tonight. I'm surprised. Not a lot of people are saying things tonight, but I have my own feedback. You are awesome. Have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you on Monday.